Hello and welcome to the Deep Dive, where we plunge into your sources, peel back the layers, and unearth those truly important insights. Today, we're diving into a fascinating collection of material, primarily drawn from the marketing book, 5th edition. We're tackling marketing itself, a subject that touches almost every part of our lives, often without us even realizing it. Get ready to rethink what you thought you knew about how products, services, and even ideas find their way to us. Okay, let's unpack this.
Absolutely. And this deep dive isn't just about definitions, is it? It's really about understanding how marketing has profoundly transformed. From what seemed like a simple transaction-focused function to, well, a complex, multifaceted discipline today.
Right.
We'll uncover foundational concepts, explore some really surprising shifts in thinking, and see just how broadly marketing applies across industries and even societal challenges. What's truly compelling in these sources is the story of marketing's constant adaptation. It's always changing.
Okay, so let's kick off by revisiting marketing's origins. For a long time, the common understanding was pretty straightforward, wasn't it? Marketing was simply whatever comes between production and consumption.
Yeah, basically getting stuff to buyers.
Exactly. Getting products to buyers, primarily using those familiar 4Ps: product, price, promotion, and place.
The classic mix.
Right. And this mid-20th century approach largely assumed, well, efficient markets and focused on mass selling to pretty broad consumer groups.
And while that marketing mix paradigm was definitely central for decades, our sources reveal it began facing serious scrutiny, say, by the 1980s and 90s.
Yeah, around then.
This led to I'd say, revolutionary shift towards what's now considered almost synonymous with marketing itself, relationship marketing.
Okay.
The core idea here is to identify, build, maintain, and enhance long-term, profitable relationships with customers and other stakeholders. And it's all based on a mutual exchange and fulfillment of promises. Trust in this new world isn't just helpful, it's absolutely non-negotiable.
That's a huge conceptual leap from just the 4Ps. But it's interesting that our sources point out there isn't one single agreed-upon definition for relationship marketing.
No, that's right. It's more a collection of loosely aligned understandings,
Mhm.
shaped by different research fields.
So like B2B versus services.
Exactly. So what marketers learned from services marketing might differ quite a bit from what they discovered in business-to-business contexts. But the common thread is clear. Interaction, relationships, and networks now define our contemporary understanding of marketing. That's the key takeaway.
So why this profound shift then? What drove it?
Well, the sources suggest that in an increasingly, let's say, materialistic society, the basic demand for standardized products just got saturated.
Right. Everyone had the basics.
Pretty much. So when products become functionally comparable, how do consumers choose? They start to differentiate based on perceptual differences. And this is where sophisticated, sustained and integrated marketing communication campaigns become absolutely vital for companies to stand out. It's about perception.
That focus on perception leads us somewhere even more, well, counterintuitive, postmodern marketing.
Ah, yes.
It's a term that's apparently been applied to everything from making love over the internet to making war, which is broad.
Very broad.
But what it seems to highlight is this fascinating trend where products and services embrace a time was ethos.
A kind of nostalgia.
Exactly. Think retro casinos, retro restaurants, or movies just packed with sequels, remakes, and sequels of prequels.
Right, bringing back the past.
It's almost like marketers are tapping into a collective nostalgia, selling comfort and shared history, not just products.
Mm-hmm. Sound like feeling.
So after understanding these fundamental shifts in what marketing is, we naturally have to turn to the who, the customer.
Absolutely essential.
Because without truly understanding their minds, all those new strategies are really just guesswork, aren't they?
Completely.
Our sources break down consumer behavior as a cognitive process, sort of an intellectual journey. It kicks off with stimuli from the environment, like ads or conversations, moves into mental processing, where information is stored, linked up,
Right, the thinking part.
and finally results in attitudes, intentions, and maybe eventually the actual purchase.
But what's really fascinating here, and the sources call it a great disappointment in early research,
Oh.
is that attitudes, intentions, and actual behavior often do not correlate well or at all.
Really? So thinking you'll buy something doesn't mean you will.
Often, no. Imagine the frustration for researchers and marketers. However, researchers like Fishbein and Azin showed that you could get surprisingly high correlations.
How?
by precisely matching the measurement of attitude to the specific behavior. It's like you can't just ask about general feelings towards a brand. You have to ask about the intention to perform a very specific action, like buying that brand in that store this week.
Ah, okay, much more granular.
Exactly. It needs real nuance.
And it's also crucial to remember, I suppose, that not all consumers process information the same way.
Definitely not.
Our sources talk about selectivity, where personal and situational factors can significantly impact decision-making. Throw the whole process off course sometimes.
Yeah, things interfere.
There's this concept of consumer involvement, and a study on new foods illustrated this really well. It identified 3 distinct psychographic segments.
Based on psychology, not just demographics.
Right. Less involved adapters, innovators, and more involved adapters. Each group had unique buying behaviors.
So you can't just launch a product with one message.
Exactly. The source says the strategy needs to accommodate all 3. You have to talk to each group differently.
And connecting this to the bigger picture, these kinds of nuanced insights just underscore the critical need for rigorous marketing research.
Where you need the data.
You absolutely do. Our sources outline a robust process, from defining the problem to choosing research types. This includes using existing secondary data, which is often the first step, then gathering new primary quantitative data, maybe via questionnaires.
The surveys and numbers.
Yep. And also delving into qualitative insights through methods like individual interviews or even projective exercises.
Projective exercises. What are those exactly?
Well, instead of asking directly, how do you feel about X, you might ask someone to imagine X as an animal, or draw it, or finish a sentence about it. It lets respondents project hidden feelings onto something else, uncovering emotions that direct questions might miss. Quite powerful, actually.
Interesting. Like getting at the subconscious stuff.
Sort of, yeah. And of course, getting the right sampling is key. You need to talk to the right people. There are different techniques, like judgment sampling, where experts pick the sample, or quota sampling, which tries to mirror the population's characteristics.
So the crucial takeaway here seems to be that deep customer understanding isn't about guesswork at all. It's about deploying these sophisticated tools to unlock insights into their thought processes and behaviors.
Precisely. You need the right tools for the job.
Okay, so once we've peeled back those layers of customer behavior and research, the next big question is, how do marketers actually apply all this knowledge?
Strategy time.
That's where strategy comes in, right? The real engine of marketing. Our sources emphasize that marketing strategy sometimes claims to provide an answer to one of the most difficult questions.
Which is?
How to recognize and achieve an economic advantage which endures. So not just a quick win, but lasting success.
That's the holy grail.
And this involves a constant interplay between strategy formulation, like coming up with the plan, and strategic implementation, actually making it happen.
2 very different skills.
Definitely. We even learned about game theory here, which models competition, the famous Prisoner's Dilemma game, for example.
Ah, yes, the classic.
It's a simplified model of price competition, but it shows how the individual incentive to cut prices can lead to consequences that leave every competitor worse off.
It's a paradox, isn't it? Acting in your own best interest makes everyone worse off collectively.
Exactly. A stark, almost counterintuitive lesson.
Which naturally begs the question, why do brilliant strategies sometimes fail? They look great on paper, but...
Fizzle out.
Yeah. Our sources point squarely at a significant implementation problem in marketing.
What kind of problem?
Well, often it's that executives simply do not believe that they have a marketing problem or that they need to change anything. Inertia, maybe? Complacency.
Could be.
And the sources note that companies differ significantly in their capability to formulate exciting strategies versus their actual ability to implement them. The sobering conclusion they draw is that ultimately, implementation is strategy. A plan isn't worth much if you can't execute it.
So how do you bridge that crucial gap between the plan and reality?
Well, one key tool is internal marketing.
Internal. Marketing inside the company.
Exactly. This isn't about selling to external customers. It's about gaining the support of key decision makers internally and, crucially, shifting the attitudes and behaviors of employees and managers who actually interact with customers.
The frontline staff.
Yes. It's about informing and persuading the internal customers, as the source puts it, through internal product, price, place, and promotion.
So the marketing plan itself becomes the product.
Precisely. For instance, a new marketing plan to attack a special vertical market becomes the product you sell to the internal sales team, maybe through workshops, presentations, internal communications. It's like running a campaign within the company to get everyone pulling in the same direction.
Makes sense. Get the team behind it first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And building on that strategic foundation, new product development, or NPD, is critical for long-term success. But as the sources say, it's expensive and risky.
Lots of failure.
Loads. But there's been a significant shift, illustrated perfectly by Nike, actually.
Oh, yeah. How so?
They apparently moved from believing every new product started in the lab, a sort of build it and they will come approach.
Technology push.
Right, technology push. They shifted to understanding that it is the consumer who leads innovation. That's market pull. Listening first, then developing.
So starting with the customer need.
Exactly. And studies show that just having an explicit new product strategy dramatically improves success rates. The source mentions a leap from, get this, 1 successful product per 58 ideas
Wow, that's low.
to 1 successful product in 7 ideas, just by having a clear strategy. That's a massive difference in efficiency and reduced risk.
Incredible. Now, we can't talk strategy today without talking about the digital world, can we?
Impossible. It's changed everything.
E-marketing has become a facet of marketing that cannot be ignored, as the source states. You see giants like Cisco, EasyJet, IBM conducting most sales and customer service online.
Though we also remember the spectacular dot-com failures from the early days, right? It wasn't all smooth sailing.
True, a lot of hype back then. But our sources highlight the strategic importance of websites not just for sales, but for identifying customer needs, mining comments, weblogs, running surveys online.
But what's really significant here is that e-marketing extends beyond the website. It really includes all use of digital technology to manage that customer relationship.
Okay, so email, apps, social media.
All of it. And interestingly, our sources reveal that business-to-business, B2B, e-commerce, is projected to reap 10 times more revenue than their B2C counterparts.
10 times. Why so much higher?
Well, it's not just about direct online sales in B2B. It's heavily driven by a desire to cut costs and boost supply chain efficiency. Think of companies like General Electric and Ford moving their entire procurement buying supplies online. Huge volumes, huge savings.
Ah, okay. Efficiency gains.
Big time. And for both B2B and B2C online, crucial metrics like conversion rates, how many visitors buy something,
Right.
attrition rates, how many customers you lose, and click-through rates on ads. These become the digital heartbeat of a company's marketing efforts. You have to track them constantly.
So marketing's influence clearly stretches way beyond just selling products in the traditional sense.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's look at something like cause-related marketing. This is where businesses and charities partner up for mutual benefit.
And it's becoming increasingly important, isn't it?
Seems so. The sources say consumers expect businesses to be socially responsible. They cite a figure that 81% of consumers agree they would switch brands if price and quality were basically the same to support a company that's doing something to make the world a better place.
That's a powerful statistic.
Yeah.
It's not just a niche concern anymore.
It's mainstream expectation.
So this begs the question, how does this actually play out in the real world? What does it look like?
Well, our sources give vivid examples like purchase-triggered donations. Think Purcell contributing to comic relief every time you buy a box.
Right, a direct link.
Or those voucher collection schemes like Tesco's Computers for Schools or Walker's Books for Schools. Remember collecting those?
Vaguely, yes. They were huge for a while.
And apparently together those schemes generated over $100 million of benefit to schools. That's significant impact.
Definitely. And for the company.
Well, these initiatives reinforce brand values and advertising messages. So it builds goodwill, enhances reputation. The source concludes that the limits of cause-related marketing are created or defined only by the limitations of one's imagination.
A true win-win, then. Good for society, good for the brand.
Exactly. Now, building that societal influence, there's also social marketing.
Which is different from social media marketing, right?
Yes, very different. This applies core marketing principles, segmentation, targeting, the 4 Ps, but the goal is to influence the acceptability of social ideas or change behaviors for societal good.
So things like public health campaigns.
Precisely. Tackling difficult behaviors like encouraging family planning or promoting oral rehydration therapy in developing countries. It's a fascinating blend of psychology, sociology, communications theory, following a logical planning process. That includes consumer-oriented research, marketing analysis, market segmentation, objective setting, and the identification of strategies and tactics. All the marketing tools, but for social goals.
And what's interesting is how early examples, say back in the 1960s, like family planning programs in Sri Lanka, actually moved away from purely clinical approaches.
Or so.
They started experimenting with audience segmentation and mass communication, using marketing techniques to reach people more effectively than just through clinics.
Applying commercial thinking to social problems.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, it's sometimes criticized for focusing too much on individual behavior change, maybe ignoring bigger structural issues.
Right, blaming the victim sometimes.
That's the critique. But the field is also concerned with broader social, cultural, structural, and policy influences. However, there are tricky ethical considerations, like the potential for stigmatization if you target certain groups for, say, a health campaign.
Yeah, that could backfire.
It can. And sometimes that poses barriers to segmentation, meaning you might have to use blanket targeting with self-selection, aim a broad message, and let people opt in to avoid singling out vulnerable groups.
Complex ethical tightrope to walk there.
Very much so.
Okay, finally in this section, let's explore green marketing. This directly addresses the huge global imperative to find more sustainable and equitable ways to produce, consume, and live.
A massive challenge.
Huge. And this discipline examines how businesses can genuinely respond to that growing societal concern for the environment.
And our sources highlight two pretty distinct types of corporate response, don't they?
They do. First, you have the reactive strategists. The example given is Shell with the Brent Spar oil facility disposal.
Oh, I remember that. Big controversy.
Huge. They faced a major public relations battle and a consumer boycott, even though they had initial government approval. It really demonstrated the costly consequences of ignoring wider stakeholder dialogue.
A hard lesson learned.
Indeed. In stark contrast, you have proactive strategists. These companies prioritize open communication with stakeholders and actually view environmental responsiveness as a genuine opportunity for competitive advantage.
Seeing green as an opportunity, not just a cost.
Right. Although the crux of the green marketing challenge, the sources say, often lies in pricing. How do you accurately reflect those external social and environmental costs in the price of a product?
That's tough. Consumers might say they want green products, but will they pay more?
The eternal question. Yet there's a powerful win-win argument presented, with examples like Electrolux's green range of white goods.
What did they find?
They apparently achieved a 3.5% higher gross margin on those products while significantly lowering their environmental impact.
So it is possible.
Yeah.
Good for the planet, good for the bottom line.
It seems so, at least in some cases. It shows it's not always a trade-off.
Okay, so marketing clearly isn't monolithic. It adapts hugely depending on the context.
Absolutely. And nowhere is this more evident than in business-to-business or B2B marketing.
A whole different world from selling to consumers.
Totally. Our sources highlight its unique realities. B2B markets are often characterized by deep customization and dynamism. Things change fast, and products are often tailored.
And the buying process itself is different.
Massively. Unlike consumer markets, organizational buying involves incredibly complex buying centers. You often have 3 or more people involved.
Sometimes way more.
Right. The source says, in some cases, as many as 40 people could be involved in a single purchase decision. Especially for expensive, complex, first-time buys. It's not just one person picking something off a shelf.
Definitely not. Multiple stakeholders, different priorities. It's intricate.
So how does this complexity translate into effective strategy in B2B?
Well, the interaction approach is really firmly established here. It emphasizes the intricate processes and relationships which occur between and within buying and selling organizations. It's all about managing those complex connections over time.
So relationships are key in B2B.
Absolutely central. And interestingly, this B2B focus on relationships has actually heavily influenced consumer product markets too.
How so?
Well, think about relationship management being enthusiastically embraced by companies dealing directly with consumers now. Things like loyalty card programs.
Oh, like supermarket card.
Exactly. Or personalized online environments like Amazon, where they track your history and make recommendations. That's taking B2B relationship principles and applying them to millions of consumers.
Fascinating crossover. Okay, next up, the marketing of services. This presents its own distinct set of challenges, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. Services are inherently different.
Because of their intangibility, inseparability, heterogeneity, and perishability, as the jargon goes.
Right. You can't touch a service beforehand. Intangibility. It's often produced and consumed at the same time. Inseparability.
Like a haircut.
Exactly. Quality can vary each time. Heterogeneity. And you can't store it for later. perishability. An empty hotel room tonight is lost revenue forever.
And because services are often produced and consumed simultaneously, that variability or heterogeneity is a huge problem.
Massive. A manufacturer can inspect a widget before it ships, but pre-delivery inspection and rejection is not normally possible for a service. You can't quality check the haircut before it happens.
So how do marketers deal with these unique characteristics?
Well, the traditional 4Ps were quickly found to be too limited for services. It just didn't capture the whole picture.
You need more tools.
Yep. This led to an extended marketing mix of 7Ps, which adds people, processes, and physical evidence to the original 4.
Okay, explain those extra 3.
Well, people are crucial because often the person delivering the service is the service in the customer's eyes. Think consultants, waiters, teachers. Processes refers to the systems and flow of activities used to deliver the service. How smooth is the check-in? How easy is it to book? And physical evidence is about the tangible cues, the environment, the brochures, the website that help customers evaluate an intangible service.
Makes sense. When the product is an experience, all those things matter.
Absolutely. And sometimes, to achieve consistency, service organizations might simplify their offerings or even de-skill staff. Think fast food chains ensuring every burger is made the same way. That's described as the industrialization of services.
Standardizing the experience.
Right. But conversely, some customers will actually pay higher prices to be relieved of co-production responsibilities.
Meaning
Meaning they don't want to participate in creating the service. Like car repairers who offer to collect and deliver your vehicle, you pay extra for the convenience of not having to do that part yourself.
Interesting trade-off. Okay, let's shift gears slightly to marketing for small to medium enterprises, SMEs.
The backbone of most economies, right?
Exactly. Our sources state clearly that most enterprises are SMEs, and they have very distinctive characteristics. Things like lack of finance, lack of expertise, and lack of market impact compared to big corporations.
So they can't just copy big company marketing plans.
Pretty much impossible. The sources say strict textbook market research frameworks are virtually impossible for most SMEs to follow. It leads to more informal, opportunistic, flexible approaches, more gut feel maybe.
Scrappier, perhaps. More agile.
Yeah, scrappier, more agile, doing what they can with limited resources.
And what's truly insightful here, according to the sources, is that the most significant core competency for many successful SMEs boils down to experiential knowledge.
Experiential knowledge, not just technical skill.
No, it's broader. It encompasses practical knowledge, technical know-how, plus business acumen, but also experience, specifically learning from their unique successes and failures over time, plus strong communication competency and sharp judgment ability. It's street smarts combined with expertise.
So it's really about the people running it.
Very much so, which emphasizes that future SME marketing will likely remain deeply people-centered, but will increasingly need to embrace new technologies in their own adaptive, often informal ways.
Got it. Okay, our final stop in this tour of applications is retailing.
Where most of us interact with marketing daily.
True. And we've seen a dramatic growth of retailer power and influence, haven't we? Trade concentrating in the hands of fewer, larger enterprises, the big chains, the multiple.
Which has led to a significant shift of power from manufacturers to retailers. The retailers now often call the shots on what gets stocked, how it's priced, promoted.
Yeah, they hold a lot of cards.
Wow.
And retail formats themselves have evolved enormously, from traditional high street department stores to vast out-of-town retail parks and power centers designed for maximum shopping efficiency, easy parking.
Big boxes, basically.
Pretty much. But despite the power and sophistication of large-scale retailers, our sources note something interesting.
What's that?
That the process of internationalization has been slow and painful for many retailers. More so than for manufacturers, perhaps.
Why is that?
Lots of hurdles, legal differences, linguistic barriers, complex logistics across borders, different consumer tastes. It's harder to just replicate a store format everywhere.
Makes sense. Culture matters in retail.
But the sources add, internationalization is gaining pace. We see more international product sourcing, retailers buying globally, and the emergence of international buying groups and alliances to increase their bargaining power.
And then there's e-shopping.
Can't forget that. It's fundamentally transforming the retail landscape, propelled by facilitators like better technology acceptance and more home PCs and smartphones.
But still facing obstacles too, right?
Definitely. Things like inconvenient delivery timings, the hassle of returns, and lingering perceived risks about security or not getting what you expected.
So a mixed picture still for e-tailing.
Seems like it's constantly evolving, which I guess brings us back to the start. I'm really struck by how marketing constantly seems to be reinventing itself.
It really does.
It's not just a static set of tools, is it? It feels almost like a living, adapting discipline, constantly responding to the world around it.
I think that's a perfect way to put it.
We've truly navigated an expansive deep dive today, haven't we? Wow.
We covered a lot of ground.
From the foundational concepts of marketing, those 4Ps, all the way to its surprising postmodern turns, the intricate dance of understanding customer behavior.
An attitude-behavior gap.
Right. The gritty challenges of actually implementing strategy, not just planning it. And its really profound impact on societal issues like sustainability and public health.
Yeah, cause-related social green marketing.
We've seen how marketing adapts constantly, not just to sell products anymore, but really to shape relationships and influence the very world around us.
Absolutely. I think the material we've explored today really underscores that marketing is anything but static. It's inherently dynamic. It's constantly absorbing new ideas, new technologies, responding to societal shifts. Its true value, I think, lies in its ability to understand human and organizational needs, forge those crucial connections, and creatively solve problems.
And those problems can be commercial.
Or social, or environmental. It's a broad toolkit now.
It really is. Okay, so to leave our listeners with something to think about, given how much marketing adapts to societal shifts and technological changes, what aspects of our own daily lives, maybe things we don't even think about now, might become the future marketing problems that marketers will be trying to solve? What challenges haven't we even conceived of yet?